you. Oh, no, we'll start with Brew because this is an A game.
What are you talking about?
Sorry. What would an A game from Dallas prove to you, Brew?
It would tell me that they should be in the playoff race. Like, when you look at the NFC, and I thought they could win 9 games or so and be in it. I still would think they're the third best team in the division. I don't think they're better than Philly or Washington. But if you look at the NFC West, if San Francisco, if injuries take them out of the running, and then if the NFC North, as you alluded to earlier, isn't as good, and instead of getting 3 teams from there, you only get 2, like if Detroit really falls back, then they'd have a shot. And so, but if they lose this game, the season's darn near over. I mean, you won't feel that. They won't feel that way. But 0-2 with a tough schedule in a tough division, the season would darn near be over if they lose this game.
Yeah. I went back and forth with this one. In a game against the Giants, it would feel like we kind of pass it off to they played the Giants. So it would. But almost,
in A games, even if they blew them out, like
I understand
30
that.
to
I understand that, and I like I said, I went back and forth because I thought too, man, it was a great showing that we saw initially on Thursday night against the Eagles. And if they had an A game against the Giants, a lot of us will come and be like,
they played well both weeks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. But there would be that caveat. It's the Giants. But how many games are the Giants going to win? For the Dallas Cowboys, though, it would be, man, we didn't expect that against the Eagles.
Right.
Now you follow up with that against the Giants, and we would start to look at. I don't know about a playoff spot, but
I think listen. I had
we respect the Giants' defense.
Listen, I had the Cowboys finishing last in the division, and then they traded Micah Parsons. So I obviously didn't have high expectations for him, and I'm not going to, after 1 week, write off the Giants entirely because we thought they were going to change quarterbacks. You know what I mean? We thought the defense would, pass rush would be really good. After one game, it's too early to tell. But with that said, you're talking about adds the Giants. If you throw up the Cowboys' schedule and you look at it and just say, okay, if they play awesome against the Giants, we're going to feel like they can definitely beat the Bears.
Yeah.
They could beat the Jets. They can beat the Panthers, right?
All of a sudden.
All of a sudden it's like, okay, what if you just beat the teams who, after that,
Denver,
whose quarterbacks
Arizona.
we don't fully believe in? You know what I mean? Like there's a path there to
doesn't really get tough till
the right-hand column's moved.
Well, so then let's talk about this because for the most part, they will be exactly who I thought they were going to be. So it wouldn't prove anything to me because I clearly said, going into the season, I expect the Cowboys to be able to continue to beat and convincingly beat the bad teams who we believe that should be the New York Giants. And then there are a lot of winnable games. The Chicago Bears, the New York Jets. Although some people think that Justin Fields now is going to be the next big thing. We'll see about that. The Carolina Panthers, I do think the Denver Broncos are going to be a good team. So, and the Commanders division, we'll throw out the Eagles and the Commanders just because those are divisional games and good teams. So we'll just put that to a side. But then you got the Cardinals, you got the Raiders, who, again, I think the Raiders aren't going to be as bad as they were last year, but clearly a winnable game. We'll see what the heck the Kansas City Chiefs look like by week 13. I mean, who knows? Maybe they're shutting down Xavier Worthy, and who knows? But they're still the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the Detroit Lions. Who are the Detroit Lions in 2025? They just had a whole segment about how the Detroit Lions aren't as good as people thought they were, and that they're struggling, and Dan Campbell's feeling the heat, and blah, 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 blah. And then the Minnesota Vikings, J.J. McCarthy had 3 quarters where he didn't look so good, and the Vikings team as a whole was kind of like, what's going on here? They easily could have lost that game. Who knows what the heck they're going to look like by week 15. And then you have the Chargers, and they played great against Kansas City Chiefs. That was week 1, a divisional game. Let's see if they can continue to do that. Let's see how much they grow and evolve as a team, too, because in order for them to be as great as they can be, they need to continue to grow and evolve. And so we will see. And then again, as I already said, the Commanders, and then you're playing the Giants. So yeah, there are definitely true easy wins. And as you guys know, when I always talk about easy wins, it's like, let's take the easy wins and let's take the easy losses. Like if you're playing a good team or a great team, we'll just say you lost that game, not because you're going to lose that game, not because I believe they're going to lose that game, but let's just say, and an easy win doesn't mean that it's easy, doesn't mean that the team is bad, doesn't mean that it's a walk in the park, but it just means that, like, all right, you think that if you're a good team, if you're the Cowboys, you should be able to win this game, right? And if you can't, well, then you're not a good team, or it was just one of those random situations. So you would say you can win against the Giants, you know? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then now it starts to get a little interesting. Who are the Vikings? Who are the Lions? You know, who are the Broncos? Like and can you split the division? Can you win a game from the Commanders? Can you steal a game from the Eagles? Then you're sitting around potentially like 10 wins or so. You lose to the Giants, you're now losing one of those easy games. Now you're 0-2. Now, you really got to make sure that you win every single one of those games. You lost your catch game. You lost your kind of get out of jail free card. Yeah. What are you going to do? You can't win every single game. And then you definitely got to make sure, hey, you know, on the road we beat the Commanders, right? We definitely come away with that win against the Eagles or, you know, whatever it is. Or the Chiefs are kind of good, but nowhere near as great as they once were. Got to get that win. You know, same thing with like the Lions or the Vikings type thing. It just ramps up that pressure. But to me personally, I don't think an A game proves anything to me because it's who I thought they were. If anything, it would solidify more that this team doesn't have the floor falling from underneath them and that they're able to kind of continue what they've been over these last few years, which I think bodes well then for the coaching staff, and that, you know, that the offense still has the ability to light it up with a new offensive coach now. But like I said, I always believe that to be the case, mainly because of you have two great wide receivers, and Dak Prescott is clearly good enough to be able to wheel and deal and take advantage of that and being able to put up points and have a lot of success. The question mark was always, well, how can you know how good of a coach is Schottenheimer going to be running that offense? And as I told you guys many times, I believe that Eberflus will definitely be able to get after it defensively. The question mark would have been more like, do they have the roster from a defensive standpoint, especially once now you lose Micah? But yeah, the Cowboys could win 45-0, and it wouldn't tell me a whole lot because I've seen it so many times from the Dallas Cowboys. I've seen it so many times. And so it just wouldn't mean much to me outside of just, all right, they're able to continue to beat the Cowboys. To me, what does something prove? Do you beat the Packers? And actually, even if they just play a team like the Packers competitively or like they did against the Eagles, but still come away from a loss, at the very minimum, I would say, okay, they haven't done enough to be able to get over the hump because this is what the Cowboys have done for a while now. But at the very bare minimum, the coaching hires and the roster construction clearly wasn't enough to have it now. Oh my God, this is a disaster of a team. They're going nowhere, and they're going nowhere fast. They're only going to win 3-4 games, which is what a lot of people were sounding the alarm for. And I think if you can still continue to play some of these great teams competitively, then that goes a long way. But then again, it still remains to be seen, though. Like, okay, but like, how do you hedge? How do you get past that? How do you now consistently, reliably beat the better teams and not always have it be kind of like, well, it's a little bit of a toss-up here because ultimately you're trying to build a Super Bowl winning team and not a team that's just, yeah, they're pretty competitive. They can win some games. They can win 11, 12 games and have some fun with some of the good teams and beat up on the bad teams, and there you go. Because that is what it's been since, you know, really for the whole Mike McCarthy, Dak era together. It's just the whole thing is how do we get past that? How do we get beyond that? And that's why beating the New York Giants to me in this moment of time just means very little to me. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Dallas Cowboys? What would an Agame prove for the Cowboys or prove to you? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with visibility and neat algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time. Oh.